Ta-da!
Okay, now we're recording.
Hello. Thank God you did that.
Yeah.
We just recorded probably about 15 minutes of stuff and it was not recording. We thought it was recording. We got a thumbs up. Well, I don't know what that was about. But anyways, now we have to start all over.
Welcome to Talking Sis podcast.
Talking Sis podcast. And what we had talked about for 20 minutes is...
Not knowing we weren't recording.
That's one thing. The caveat, make sure when you start a podcast and you're first recording that you're truly recording, because we thought we truly were recording, but we're not. But now I see the number counting, so yes,
we are recording.
And it's because our screen was really clear.
Yeah, it was weird at first.
So let's introduce ourselves. I'm Julie. I'm Mom.
Let's see.
And
I'm Sarah. I'm Sis 2.
Sis 2. So Talking Sis had come about from, as Mom, I always called my children Sis. Sis, what are you doing? Sis, hey sis, what's happening? So they were always Sis. Well, their friends became Sis, and then their boyfriends became Sis. Everybody became Sis. So there was Mikey Sis, there was
Johnny Sis.
So
Tom
Sis, everybody's Sis. So Sis was well known for me. And we were trying to come up, when you do a podcast, there's so many things we think about. Big thing was our name.
Mm-hmm.
And Johnny, Sarah's husband, came up with Sis
Talk, yeah.
And that was way cool. I really liked that one.
Yeah, I didn't understand it at first. I was like, it just doesn't sound like
Sis Talk.
Yeah, it sounded weird to me at first, but then when it was explained, like, that it's like a language. Yeah. Like, sis is a language.
Yeah.
That you have, so sis talk. It does flow really well, but somebody
Your brain
had
wanted to put it together, like sis talk, like system, sis talk. But it was sis, the language sis, and you talk that language.
Mm-hmm.
And like Sarah said, that somebody had sister talk or sister talk, I think.
Yeah.
Sister talk.
I think somebody actually...
they did have it, because we even spelled it SISTOK.
Like TikTok, we were going to do sis talk.
Yeah. Thanks, TikTok.
Yeah.
So somebody had that, which was perfect, because then we came up with Talking Sis, and nobody had that.
Mm-hmm.
So I love that name, Talking Sis.
Yeah.
Because it tells us, and it's clearer, I think. You're talking sis. You're talking sis, the language sis. And so that is our...
You're another number. Like, I'm sis 2. Yeah. You could be sis 10. Sis 100.
Because sis is oneness. Everybody is sis. And that's how we want this podcast to feel, that join in. Mm-hmm. We want to get better at, so that you guys can give us feedback, so you can put your input in. We don't want this to just be us dictating things to you. We want it to be a very social sit down and truly talk about things.
Coffee. Living legend.
Living legend. This is our first cup. Living legend. We thought at the very least, this podcast, this first one especially, would be a living legend.
Yeah.
We're either going to love it from a year from now, or we're going to be using it to show you what not to do.
Oh yeah, a year from now, we're going to be looking at this video and be like, oh God. And it could be, why did you use that studio? Or why would you record in your car? Like, what is...
That's our ghost. It's our ghost friend. Hippie cat.
Sally.
Sis Sally. Sally Sis is back there hanging on.
Oh my gosh.
Oh dear goodness.
But
so we want to use this podcast, which is our first podcast, to be non-scripted, non-organized, which we do want to have organization to a certain degree in what we talk about, the topic that we talk about. But for this, it's literally, what have we gone through? What have we thought? What have we used as roadblocks and things that we want to pass on to you when starting a podcast? Yeah. What did we have to go through? So our first one, we came up with the name.
Yep.
We really that.
The first thing that we did, we were thinking about mics.
Looking at microphones, right.
So we went to Best Buy, and we were looking at mics, and we were going to spend all this money on mics.
We're just going to buy the mics.
What was that? The receiver box or something? It was like $500 or something like that. It would have been great. The audio would have been perfect and crisp, but like, we're just starting out. We're not used to that kind of technology, so that would have just been another pressure, like, a roadblock.
Yeah.
It would have just been another roadblock, I think. So
initially learning the language. This is truly a language that I'm trying to learn. What does that mean? Like, we have microphones. There's like 3 major different type of microphones, like condensed microphones. There's another one, dynamic microphones.
That's the one we were gonna get by road. And that mic was what, $99, and then the boom arm was like $50.
Yeah.
And it was just a lot, and that was on sale, actually. The microphone was on sale at that point.
Yep. And then when you have microphones, especially more than one, you have to have a box. Again, I still don't have the terminology down. It's not a condenser, but it's the one that you put together, you plug into the box, and then you can turn your microphone up, and it coordinates your microphones.
Yeah.
So you can turn the volume up. You can mute one, have one talking.
It's very overwhelming when you look at it.
Yeah.
Like, there's like knobs you can turn up. Like, there's a lot of lights. There's like 6 different knobs. There's buttons on the sides. Like, it is a lot. Oh, there's like buttons where you can put like audio and like transitions.
Yeah. It's going to be so fun when
we do
really
want
figure
that.
this out.
Yeah, we do. That is a goal
because
for this
when
podcast.
we first come on, we can press a button and it'll say do 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 do
and
do,
it will transition
music we put in, and whatever we use for a again, there's a terminology for this too, and I forget, it escapes me what it's called, but like an introduction, and then it's a extroduction. I guess it's literally called extroduction, where when you leave the podcast, you play the music or you do whatever you want to do. So
like our staple.
Yeah, we still have to figure out what it is that we want, because we do want something. I think continuity and doing something.
We could still do that. We just have to. We just have to have like a pre-recorded thing, and we can just put it on the front of this.
On this condenser thing, you press a button.
It just does it for you,
and it'll say it. You press it, and then it goes off on its thing and introduces us. And then when we're ready to be done, we press the other button, and then it extroduces us. So I thought that was cool, and we definitely will have that eventually. What else did we think about?
So after Best Buy, we went back to my house, and that's when we started talking about like a name. And we had actually pause, because when you were in New Mexico working, we had started talking about doing a podcast when you came home. And that would be really fun for us to do, because you had been gone for months, and I've always loved like internet. Like, I've streamed on TikTok before, I've streamed on YouTube, I've done TikTok things, like, but I was never like consistent with that. And because there is a lot of pressure, like you have to be consistent. You have to be. And if I was consistent, I would already be years into this. Yeah. So I've always been drawn to the internet, and I've always wanted to. This is always what I've wanted to do.
This be
like this has always been a calling. For me. But just doing it with somebody is definitely a lot easier. Having somebody to talk to, and
especially starting out. Like, it's easier to start out something with someone than it is by yourself. So we're here together. And some other things that we thought about. We knew the 2 things that we needed to be really good was audio, so that you could hear us without background noise, without the pss, pss, pss. So we ended up getting microphones that were cheap. We got them online. Like, I'm going to say now, but again, in a year, I'll tell you differently, or even 6 months, I'll tell you differently. Go get something, try it out. And we didn't want to spend a whole lot of money on something that we didn't know, and that the best thing was almost the same amount of money and more. So we ended up going for these little fur balls. I think they're so cute. I don't know if I just caused some ruckus by moving it, but look at this little fur thing. That's a microphone, and it just clips to you, and these buttons do something.
Yeah,
I
we
think
have
you
to
can
read the
pause.
instructions.
I think there's a button that you can pause, like silence me if I needed to do something, or if I needed to talk to someone else, you can silence me or something.
Mhm.
And Sis has got her little fuzzy friend. We're going to come up with some names. So you guys help us name these. This is definitely Sis 26. Sis something. But
Harold says.
so we got the microphones and we got these online. They were like $50. And
$59.99.
$59. Yep.
On Amazon. Actually, what are these called?
And I know we don't even know the name of them. Fuzzy Friends. We'll get the name for you, and
we'll put it in the description.
You know, and we'll tell you how. Well, you'll know whether or not you want to get them based on how we sound.
Yeah.
And they're actually really cool. They came with this case, and it's a charging case, and then it has an extra thing that you put on your phone.
So this is the receiver, and this, you can't really see it, but it's the old iPhone charger. So now iPhone has converted to the C charger. And that's what we're using right now because I'm using my iPhone and I have the C. But this is for like people that have the older phones, like iPhone. So if you have like an older version of iPhone and you still want to do this, you can get this microphone.
And it comes in
because it comes with both receivers.
It's hard, it's plastic, and then it has the C charger that you just charge these and close it.
And I heard when we got these have 10-hour charge, these mics.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So that charger case, when it's fully charged, will charge these mics twice.
Oh, nice.
So it's got 20 hours of charge. Well, actually, 20 hours of charge for both mics. I wonder if that's
10 and 10.
10 and 10. But
probably.
Yeah, probably.
Because it's these small.
Another thing, the receivers, they don't have to charge. You plug them into your phone and they're good. They don't need to charge at all.
Phone charges the receiver.
They have like a C charging port so that you can charge your phone through the receiver while you're doing your podcast, which is awesome because my phone is always dead. Your phone is always dead. So I have like 30% right now.
Make sure your equipment is fully charged.
I came over here. Thankfully, obviously, I had a charger in my car, but I came over here with like 6% on my phone.
So, okay, my belly just growled. We're going to need to know if you just heard that through my microphone. Because that might be an issue number one.
Yeah.
Growling belly, how do we silence that? Supposedly, the microphone's background noise, I think it cancels it a little bit. This one, from what we tested, didn't sound as good as some of them. These little fur ball, it's like a condenser, so that our pss, pss, so you can't hear the pss, pss. It helps that.
I think it helps.
Spitting sensation.
These ones specifically, I think, helps with like if you're outside, the wind.
Yeah.
I think I could be wrong.
Lock the wind down.
Yeah.
So you can't hear that external thing. It was really cool, and there's so many people online that I don't have any names to throw out at you because I'm terrible with remembering names, but there's a lot of information if you're starting a podcast. Just go online, Google. There's a lot of people that will help you start up. And I think it's awesome. And I've heard numerous times, and I'm so glad that we've gotten to this point where people are recognizing it takes a village to do something and that we're using each other's mistakes, each other's goods, pros and cons, and sharing those with each other and learning so that we all grow instead of having that mentality that the U.S. has had, I swear, for the past 20 years of the way I better myself is by holding you back, stepping on you, and going to the top. So it's coming around full circle again, where we realize that our ancestors who, if there was a barn that needed to be built, everybody got together and built the barn. And we're realizing that it's much easier to do. So we're building a barn together. We want everybody to join in talk. It's not about being right or wrong. It's just literally about sharing our perspective, our point. And there will be things that we're going to agree on 100%. There are things that we're not going to agree on. There's things that we may not agree on initially, but after food for thought and thinking about things, there's some new wisdom, and we'll definitely come back and share that. We don't want this podcast to become, oh, that's not right, that's wrong. We just want to share.
Yeah.
We want to share truth and wisdom as far as what we know, based on it has to be based on our perspective. And then we invite you to share yours.
Yeah, it needs to be absolutely respectful, because I know in certain topics people are extremely passionate about, like politics, for instance, is like, for me, I don't even want to bring up that topic, because it it only brings up, and this is my opinion, it only brings up the negative Nancy's, and it, like, you're wrong, I'm right. But it needs, this podcast, like, we can agree to disagree. Like, and it can be respectful. Like, you can think one way, I can think one way.
Right. And we respect, your positive. Just because it doesn't agree with us, we respect you to be able to come on and say, hey, I disagree with you, and say why. We want that out there because everybody can learn from each other. And I don't profess ever to know everything. I don't feel my way is always the right way. But I do have to go with my gut so I will go with that. Just as I hope that you guys go with it and that you go with it. I hope I've taught you that just because I believe in one thing doesn't mean I'm right and you're wrong if you don't believe in what I believe in. So back to some other things. So video was huge. I mean, audio was huge, and then video. Video, we're using Riverside
Studios, and we're using the free version, where our resolution will be 720 and we get 2 hours of recording time. I think per video, but it could be like
total time.
But that doesn't make sense for it to be total.
I know,
it doesn't.
Then when you purchase it, it's only 20 hours.
15.
Or 15 hours.
We'll probably end up
to limit our videos.
If we like this, like, and it records everything and we're able to do what we want with it, we'll probably stay with Riverside.
Yeah.
But
other things that we saw we didn't research much was Spotify and...
Well, that's where you upload.
Apple. Oh, you upload
Spotify,
Okay.
Spotify and Apple. And CapCut is a video editing.
Okay. Yeah, gotcha. All right. But Riverside is a studio. This is the studio. They have everything.
Recording from it.
And you can edit through Riverside, and they have like I was telling you, I don't know if it got recorded, but I'll say it again. There's a button that you can push, and it will take away all of our pauses. And if we say a lot, it'll take that out so it won't be annoying.
That probably will be the pro version, is what I'm thinking. Yeah. And we went with just the free version. This is very raw. Like, we just needed to get this podcast out there, because I feel like we were falling into a procrastination. And it was, like, not set as, like, a priority. And this is just get it out there. Feels good to just talk. Yeah. It might be all over the place. It'll get better.
The first 10 minutes that we recorded that wasn't recording, Sarah spoke in detail about that, how it is when we were thinking of a podcast and everything piece by piece and doing our research. And we love doing that, but it easily gets overwhelming. And it's easy to use those as excuses as to why you have to wait. Oh, we can't start today because we got to do this. We can't start now. We got to do this. Oh, crap. We can't start at all because we can't do this. We don't know what we're doing, but that's the fun of it. And Sarah said, let's just do it. And taking the Nike slogan, do it. And so we're just doing it.
Hashtag sponsored.
Right. And this may be a little chaotic, but hang in with us.
And ADHD.
It will be something that I truly believe that this can help each other.
Yeah, this is just the start. we have a lot of ideas on what, like, the topics that we want to talk about. And are really excited. Like, we have to get, like, a set date that we want. I don't know if Sundays will work because you have church on Sundays,
In
so
the morning, so in the afternoon.
yeah.
But we'll figure stuff out. And that is another thing. It's collaborating our time, but we also recognize that this has to be seen as something, as a job that has to be done, that it's not a choice to say, oh yeah, we're going to do this. If we truly learned to be successful in doing podcasts and keeping people's attention and drawing in the people that we want to draw in, is consistency, and to do this on a regular basis so that you, the viewers, will be able to tune in, and you'll know that every what day it is that we choose, will be there at least once a week. We'll put out a podcast, maybe even more. And we definitely want to share little clips. And it's so funny. We were doing just simple as, we wanted to have coffee was one of our themes that we want to do, is just as simply laid back, drinking coffee and talking sis with our coffee cups. So our first coffee cups were legends.
Yep.
And
Living legend.
we went to the store. One of the things we did for our thing is we went to the store and we bought our coffee cups. And I really want to change our coffee cups up frequently.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think that would be good.
Big with that. So
it could be exciting for people on YouTube that are actually watching. Like, oh, what coffee cup do they have today? That sounds really weird saying it, but that is something, like,
to look forward to our crazy coffee cups. And if anybody knows me, I'm kind of that way anyways. I love changing out my coffee cups. So I get all kinds. And we will have to do a podcast on what style of coffee cup you like. Maybe we'll do that one as the next one.
I think this one's kind of small.
I think it's too small too.
It's too small.
Yeah, too small. Living
like,
Legend, though,
it's too small.
yeah. Oh, that's a good idea. Living Legend, that's what I like the best. Yeah. I kind of like the colors.
Well, we were looking at Pooh Bear ones. Yeah. Those were really cute.
Yeah,
but I just didn't.
That was pretty.
And I don't feel necessarily, like, drawn to this, but I like that it says Living Legend. Yeah. For the podcast, I just think it's, like, for our first one, like, we'll look back at this.
We're going to be a successful legend. Or not such a successful. Right. But either way, we'll be a living legend.
Right.
Doing this.
Living legend, sis.
So what else? We did video, we did audio. We need location. We need to have a nice place to be able to do this without interruption. I don't have any young kids. Sarah has my grandbaby.
And she's 2.
And she's 2.
She's going to be 3.
It's hard to do at Sis's house because the baby's there.
And she would not like us being in the other room. It would
very distracting.
Her knowing that we're there, she would be
knocking on the door.
Yeah, she would.
So we knew that was not an option.
Yeah.
My house here it can be an option, but a lot of times it can't be because I have a dog, and which we're going to do a podcast with the dog at some point.
Yeah.
Consistently, no. And we have family members coming in and out. My fiance's daughter lives with us and her son, and you'll get to we'll introduce you to them at some point. But so that wasn't good. So Jerry said we could use downstairs, and so we were super excited about it. So we went downstairs. Not so much. Got a lot of work to do there.
Yeah, there's
fire equipment. There's all
big
kinds of
machines I've never seen in my life.
I thought maybe doing one. We'll have to do it to show you. The podcast we could do in front of that big weird machine, whatever that was, that had like crank on it. And
the one in like straight ahead?
Yeah, straight ahead to the right. That was kind of cool. It's like an old fashioned machine, so we could do something there.
It's like a garage. It's tools everywhere. Like it is definitely like
a man.
I was not expecting that.
Yeah, I wasn't either. like Neil was living there. I was not expecting having all those tools, but Jerry was a machinist, so there's a lot of machinist tools there. So anybody who wants machine tools, Jerry said he wants to sell them. So link below. So location was a place that we still have to work out. So here we are in the car, the Sequoia, and we might bounce from car to car. So this is one.
You might be able to see all of our cars.
Our bestest. Lighting is another one. So let us know if this lighting is too dark, or we'll definitely always give us feedback.
I don't know if it's gonna be too dark. It's bright.
Yeah, bouncing off her glasses. I don't know if mine doesn't look like it on here, but who knows? It might be. So lighting is a big thing. So we looked at lighting and those ring lights.
I have one.
Yeah, sis
that's USB that we could plug in. So, but it's small. It's not going to fill like a huge space.
And then how to use it perfectly. So it's kind of like becoming a photographer and learning again the language.
Yep.
If we put the light behind us, that's not going to work because it shows in the camera. So we're going to be dark,
and the light's going to be too
behind the camera so that it can shine on us. That part was self-explanatory. So that was easy to learn. But just those caveats. Do we have lighting? Do we want lighting in the back off to the side to light up? I
was actually just thinking that like up.
It would be kind of cool. So we're going to play around with that. So that's another thing we get to figure out together. Again, any input, any best products out there, share them with us. Yep. As soon as we learn stuff, we'll share with you. I'm going to have to write down these bloggers' names and podcast names that I got a lot of information. Yep. There was this mini light. This girl was talking about this mini light, and it was like a little, I don't know, maybe 6-inch by...
We looked at the price. What was the price? It was like $60.
It was really cheap. It was like $60.
Yeah.
And she said that that's the best. It's called mini light.
LED mini light. Yeah.
And she said that was the best light that she used, and she actually...
I think it's a popular one. Like a lot of people use it for vlogging.
It connects right at the top. It can connect to your phone or above.
Camera. Yeah.
On its thing.
I think a lot of people use those for like vlogging. Like vlogging channels use those on their cameras.
We tried to decide what we were going to use as our camera. So right now, we just started out with the phone. Again, we're keeping it simple. We started out with our iPhone. This is an iPhone 16, right?
15.
15. Ooh, I got an iPhone 16, don't I?
I think you do have the newer version.
So you guys have to understand. The only reason why I have a newer version is because I have had an iPhone 8 for how long? Forever, for years. And I just graduated to this newer phone. Thank goodness to Jerry. Jerry said, okay, you got to get a different phone.
Yes, and she would just buy one off Facebook Marketplace.
Facebook Marketplace.
Just keep buying them.
Yeah, because I didn't care. The only thing I cared about was having it big enough so I could hold it in my hand. And I did like the camera, so I wanted a certain megabytes. I needed like 256 and above because I take tons of pictures.
Yeah, but I think I have like 64, and I have like 4,000 pictures. So how many did you have on your phone?
Like sis, oh my God, sis. She's like, Mom, how many apps do you have? Or was that you? Somebody said, how many apps do you have? I have like...
I can't remember.
10 pages. There's 10 pages if you scroll on my phone. I think it was Jordan.
It was probably Jordan and Hugh.
And you pull the phone over. She said, Mom, are these repeated apps? And she just keeps going. And then we counted them. There was 11 full pages.
Yeah, that's
of
crazy.
How many apps I have. So... But we digress. So
for me, my phone page, like I have like the main phone page, I have to have like very organized and clear.
Yeah. Jerry's the same way. He said, oh my God, every time I upgrade, I get these games and I get this stuff. They're not even mine. It drives him crazy. For me, I'm like, if I see an app and I love it, I click it and I get it. I may not
and
use
then forget about it.
Or forget about it. I may not use it, but I definitely... Just in case, for that rare occasion, I need it. I will have it. So, but I need to do a lot of phone cleaning. Maybe that will be a thing that we need to do, is to clean my phone. I have noticed, though, that my 2-year-old grandbaby can use the phone, the iPad, everything better than I can. I have graduated to my grandmother. I am the grandmother, which I am. I am a yaya. And she can use the phone better than I can.
Yeah.
Little sis can use the phone better than sis.
Yeah. My daughter, Quinlan, who's 2 years old, is little sis. Just so you know.
Another sis.
Yeah.
So, again, we wanted to talk about, because we taped this, I hope it's not redundant, but sis. So sis to us is We want everybody to feel like they can talk sis. Sis is our language of love, our language of acceptance, our language of learning. Because this podcast for me, truly, I want this to be about life and about life's journey and about anything and everything that helps us grow and become the best version of ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the topics that we want to talk about. We want to talk about not only the good things in life, but the bad things that happen. Because God revealed to me probably about 2 years ago when I was devastated because a relationship broke up and I didn't understand it. And I can remember being in that valley and so sad,
Mm-hmm.
like disproportionately sad about it, and realized, oh my God, this is where I learned the most about me. That it had nothing to do with the relationship. I didn't even really, once it was over, I realized, oh my God, I didn't even really like that relationship. I liked the idea of what I thought the relationship could be. So, what a caveat to learn.
Mm-hmm.
That was interesting. So, this is what we want this to be, is to share those experiences from a perspective from old. Yeah.
What is it? Gen X and Gen Z, right?
Yeah, I'm Gen X or Gen Z.
Think you're. Let's look it up.
Wait, no, I'm Gen X because I remember Elon Musk is X. His son is X, so I was like Gen X.
Wait, his name?
His son's name is X. Yeah, X.
Oh my
I
God.
know. Yeah. Yes, X. And so I'm Gen X and she's Gen Z. So we're going to use that in our podcasts. What an awesome way to depict
Mm-hmm.
an understanding from an older generation to the younger generation and all the things we can give and take to each other. Like there's so much that I have learned in a lifetime that I can pass on to my younger kids.
Mm-hmm.
To maybe help them help them learn something. It's kind of like that question you ask yourself, if if I knew what I know now, what would I do differently when I was 27, 28, 27?
I'm 27. I just turned 27.
I'd start taking ginkgo biloba a lot sooner. So
I actually asked that question the other night. What would you do? And I just came up with an age. What would you do if you were 21 again?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Because I'm 27. That's
you're
crazy. Yeah, that's, I can't believe it.
So if she's 27, I'm 21. Plus
Okay.
30, 33.
Oh my gosh.
Right? 21 plus 33. Can I count?
How old are you?
Oh, wait. 21 plus 30.
Are you 54?
Right, I'm 54. Yeah. Okay, the counting is going down as well. So yes. And the podcast is going to be awesome, I think. And that difference is going to be a huge piece.
Mm-hmm. We think about things differently.
That perspective, we do. And then sometimes we think a lot alike, but we have a really good respect for our differences. I'm the mama, obviously, so sometimes Mama Bear comes out and but I also have to realize that I am your mother, but you're a grown adult.
Yeah.
And this is one thing that moms, as we know, we have to learn, and you're going to learn with Quinn, is that we have to learn how to let go.
Yeah.
And let you go through and make those mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
Even though we could do something or say something to prevent it from happening, but sometimes, especially you, you're a lot like Mama.
Yeah, you couldn't tell me.
You have to go through
it. Oh, yeah. It just made me, like, if you told me not to do something, it made me just want to do it even more.
Yeah. Yeah, nice.
I'll prove you wrong.
Yeah, I was kind of like that too, and I still am like that. Like,
I got a taste of my own medicine though with the boys, because I was a foster parent and took care of my cousins. They were family, but yeah, that was rough. Taking care of kids that like were raised to their teenage years and like then taking them on as a young
of itself.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely a different different day
Yeah.
to talk about, because there's a lot. But
We need to have light bulb moments, and this is a light bulb moment that sometimes we don't learn just the verbal information. The easiest way is somebody to share something with you, right? You think we would get it. We don't get it that way. When we do get it is when, ta-da, it happens to you from someone else. Like when Gabriel was independent and did his own thing, the light bulb comes on and says, my mom was right.
Yeah. Or she was right.
Yeah, it was right.
Yeah.
So, but see, this is the information that we want to share with you guys. Having these little conversations can mean so much to someone else. And we want to figure out how to capture this and to share it out there and to keep it entertaining, not being long. I'm looking at the time right now because that's another thing we look at is how long do we want our podcast to be? We definitely can get winded. We definitely can get sidetracked, all of those things. And a lot of it, that's going to occur and we're okay with that. But we need to recognize how far out is too far where we lose people's attention. So again, bear with us. This is going to take time to figure out. But I believe that.
I think, like, even just doing this podcast right now, I'm thinking you like paper and pen. So writing out, like, okay, I want to talk about this first, then move on to this.
Absolutely.
And just keep it like right here, right underneath our camera so we can keep track, because it is bounced. Like, I do feel this podcast to be, and if you've made it this far, it is all over the place. It is. We've talked about multiple different things, multiple different topics, but it is like, it's our first podcast in front of the camera. We're trying to explain certain things and then like get an idea popped into our head, and keeping something like right here that we can just look down, read, okay, did we go over that? Check. We want to go over this now, check. Like,
do you want to hear something cool? My research showed me that you can use this as a teleprompter, and I think Riverside has it.
Yeah, I do.
You can type in your outline, so you can even read stuff right off the prompter, or you can have little caveats to keep us focused. Like, okay, this is this, and it's an outline in the background. You guys can't see it as viewers, but we can see it, and it will help keep us focused. So we will get it narrowed down. But
I think that's the pro version.
The pro version?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Because the free version is very, like, you get 2 hours, girl, and it's at 7:20, whatever.
We're getting shut down, so just know that it's going to be at least 2 hours long.
I was thinking, like, when I think of a podcast, I'm thinking like an hour long.
Yeah, I think hour may be too long if they're not. But again, it may be too long for you at that podcast. And that's okay. Start watching, then you don't need to watch the whole thing. But for someone else, the hour long, just sitting with us and I've got to figure out how, because I want people to be able to join in. Obviously, we can't have 700 people join in or 1,000 people join in, but I do want to have it so that we have maybe when we post, like, because we want to be proactive, so you know what we're going to be talking about next week, we can invite you, the listeners, have 5 listeners on with us.
Yeah.
And have a forum of 7.
Oh yeah, that would be a good idea.
Like that, you know what I mean? And
then they could like raise their hand to ask a question or something.
We can all chime in live and talk.
I think making a Twitch would be a good idea, because you can do IRL, so you could literally just be sitting there talking.
Yeah.
Or just chatting.
Yeah. Right. Like, and then doing the live video. What's the one where you do the live video? Is it? I think we can do reels. We'll do reels because we want to show this video.
Yeah.
So we'll do some reels and we'll take
little clips
of clips that are important. I learned with AI, I'm learning AI, that we can take this podcast that we did and we'll have our AI assistant, AI assistant, do our say what was the outline of our podcast in the most important sections, and we'll be able to put that into a reel.
That's funny you said that, and I actually forgot while sitting here, but I was listening to a podcast about starting a podcast on the way here, and he was talking about Chat GPT.
Yeah.
And this other girl was also talking about Chat GPT. So people are like actually using Chat GPT to come up with their podcast.
Yeah, to outline the podcast, to keep it very simple. You just say the topic, and you don't even have to say the topic anymore. You just type in like what we did. Well, I did because I was coming up with some logos. There's a freaking logo maker, an AI assistant. I'm telling you, I am 54, 54. And I am so excited about AI assistant or AI. It takes away the need to do all of this research to a certain degree. Well, it will. Unfortunately, on some parts, it does take away too much. But at least we'll give you the truth.
Yeah.
We're seeing this world come out of a lot of lies. Anybody will say anything to get whatever they want. Hopefully AI will stay truthful.
Yeah.
In the end, it's probably not. But anyways, for right now, AI does all of our dirty work, if you will, all of that.
I don't know if I really like that.
I don't like it, but I do like it.
I think I would
it's scary,
like
but
asking
I do like it.
I think I would like asking a question. Like, what is a question that I could talk about on my podcast? And they could come up with like a question, and we could talk, or not a question, but like an answer, and we could just talk about that topic. I think that would be fun. But if we use like Chat GPT to come up with our podcast, I feel like it's not like real. Personal. It's fake.
Yeah. No, I agree in that. And that is one of our big philosophies, is that we want this to be real. We want this to be genuine. We want it to be humble. We want it to just be to help one another out. And if AI can help me out, my God, I'm going to use it, and I'm learning how to use it.
I think it would be cool to do like a whole episode.
It helps you be organized, for sure.
Like to just explain like and go through the motions. Like right on here, we pull up Chat GPT and we
ask it a question.
Like ask, I want to do a podcast or whatever you have to say for it to prompt it, and see what it comes up with.
Right.
And like, is it something that
and it's so funny we say Chat GPT. One thing I realized is that Google, I call it Google Stat. Google is AI.
Yeah.
It is the first version of an AI. It's information.
Yeah.
It's a search engine.
Yeah.
That was the beginning
of
AI.
Yeah.
Right? It's like Google.
I don't know a time without Google.
What is today? You don't?
No, I've never been without Google.
That's so funny. But then, without Google, that's another podcast.
Like, how do you research? Right.
What is an encyclopedia? What is a dictionary? And by God, what is research articles? How do you look up research articles? It's true. But again, see how much that Google made life easier?
Yeah.
So you didn't have to take up time on doing the research. You can use Google and it gets stuff better. But yeah, there is that balance, even with that beautiful information source, there is a balance. And AI, there needs to be a balance as well.
Speaking of that, in school, when I was in for nursing, they didn't want you to use Google for certain
topics, research
projects.
Yeah.
And they wanted you to use these like
medical journals.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I had never used those, and they're hard to use. Google really is, like, you don't realize it, but Google is so easy. Yeah. It's easy. And so when you have to use those, like, medical journals, the blogs, like, it's hard to use them. Yeah. And, like, the way they're formatted, it's hard. It's
a different language in reading it, too. But in the medical journals, the one thing with the medical journals, you believed that information that you was a resourceful information. It was a true information. It was legitimate. Google has shown us through any chat you do, you can come up with 700 answers.
Yep.
And
which one is really
what
right?
is right.
Yeah.
And that part is so frustrating. But again,
Yeah.
that's going to lead us, there's another topic that we can look at. How do you keep that integrity? How do you keep the honesty? How do you, we've lost it already. Like it's just simple example of vitamins. Jerry and I were looking at some vitamins, and what vitamin do you use? Like, there was one,
it's brands. It's
Yeah.
money.
It's brands. It is. It
Yeah.
always goes back to this, the root of all evil is money.
Yeah.
Money, money, money. And so in this time and age, our podcast, we want it again to be something that is honest,
Yep.
that is truthful, that is
our opinions.
Yeah, it is our opinions. It is something that we want to share, and we want people to share with us.
Yeah, we don't want to talk at you. We want it to be like a community where we all communicate respectfully, and can respectfully agree to disagree or agree on the topic. Like, we don't want this because it is kind of like a debate. Like, we don't want this to turn into negative at all.
And you guys know, like, simply, like, anybody who knows me, I am really good at seeing both sides. I can see both sides, and I can give credit where credit is due. There's a lot, I think that's a gift that God's given me. And again, I'm not perfect at it because sometimes I can't see it at all. Yeah. But I try to see both sides, and I try to take good from both. I don't just pick, oh, I'm a Republican, Democrats are horrible. I try to take in, okay, Democrats have some really good points. They really truly want to care about the person, right? To take care of the person. So I think there is a piece that I like about Democrats, but there's a lot that I don't. And again, I don't want to get Republican versus Democrat. It's just, I just want the betterment for us as humans living in this world today. And this podcast, I want to be able to have this podcast used in a way that we're just learning together and making mistakes and being okay and learning from those mistakes. How do you use a mistake? Do we use a mistake to blame each other and say, ha ha, I was right, you're wrong? Or do we use mistakes and saying, oh wow, I made that mistake before. Don't do that because this is what happens. But just because it happened for that person doesn't mean that it will happen for you. And that yet is another lesson that you learn through mistakes. Mistakes can be used in a very good way to grow. And that definitely will be one of our podcasts.
Yeah.
To learn from our mistakes. And I get super excited going into valleys, even though it's painful and it makes me cry and it hurts. I'm excited about the valleys because God's always shown me something in there that's made me a better person when I come out of it. It forces me to change when I'm in a valley. It makes me lean on God, and it brings out yet another tool I can use to come up out of the valley and then be better. So I don't keep going down in the same valley. Now, I have gone in the valley before, in the same valley, and rode, it's like a Ferris wheel. And I can see God shaking his head, oh, Julie. But we go back to that. I have to go through that. I had to go through that. And the 10th time, I finally realized, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's always something I think we can learn from our mistakes, for sure.
I agree. And recently, like at the beginning of the year, I was like in like this just funk. Like I just didn't want to do anything. And I'm still kind of in that, but I think it's like the time of year too, because
it's definitely
we
wintry.
live in Maine, and Maine gets a ton of snow and it lasts forever. It's like half the year. And it's just gross here. And I hate it.
Well, that might be part of the problem.
Yeah.
Light bulb. I need to get one of those little pie things with a light bulb.
But after like 4 months into it and you still have months to go, it's like And like today, it's like, it's not, I mean, it's not raining, thankfully.
Yep, it stopped raining. Yeah.
But it's just gray out. There's no sun. Like, I'm sure my vitamin D is like 2.
0.
So, but yeah.
I just came back from New Mexico and I love it. The first time I ever went to New Mexico, I don't know if you got the same sense when you came to visit me, but New Mexico, man, it's called the land of enchantment. And I don't think it's anything spectacular, but the sun there is amazing. It is, if you don't have the sun, give it a minute, it will be out.
Yeah.
And if you don't have the sun, it's like a day that you don't have the sun. It's
Yeah.
not weeks on end. It's not days on end. If you get snow, it goes away. I can remember, okay, then we're going to tie this down, but I can remember the first time I went to New Mexico and it snowed and I was like, oh, it's so beautiful. And I had to go to work. I worked 3 to 3 then. And I went to go to work around 1 o'clock and the snow was gone. And I literally got a sense like, who stole the snow?
Yeah.
Like, how did that happen? Like, where did the snow go? Like, there
was also one year though that New Mexico had more snow than we had.
Remember that?
Like the whole winter.
I went out and I was so excited and I was rubbing it in her face like, I'm going to New Mexico. And I get there and there was 35 inches of snow.
Yeah. And we didn't have like any. It may be less than 6 inches. Yeah. Like, we had nothing here.
I think that was over. It was like 2 or 3 storms. It wasn't one snowstorm that dumped 35 inches. I think it was like it snowed 3 times in a row. But that being said, it was gone within a week. Yeah. It wasn't even a week's time, and 35 inches of snow was gone. If we had 35 inches of snow in Maine,
it would be here all winter. Season. Yeah.
All year. Yeah.
Especially certain parts of Maine.
Okay, so we touched upon some of the obstacles that we've run into to start this podcast, but we have started it, and now it is our job to do the best we can to bring you information and share information with you and do our research and do our due diligence to bring you a podcast that you join in on, both listening and input. So we will figure out ways that you can do input and
there's
get that open to you.
Many different ways that we could do. We could do through Instagram is a big one. So
is that the one where you can do live, and then as we're doing live you can give emojis or say, hey, how you doing? You know how when you go live and it says live, what is
you can
what
do it on like anything, to be honest. Like TikTok is a big one. The big ones that I'm familiar with, because I watch a lot of streaming, like video games and stuff like that, is YouTube, Twitch, and TikTok. Like, those are the ones that people stream on. And you can stream like right now we could be vlogging, and we could be vlogging on YouTube, Twitch.
Is vlogging the same as like doing this, but I can answer questions that people ask?
Yeah, it's all
you know how like when
it's like people will be watching us while we're talking,
playing a video game and they're talking and then people type in their response. Yeah, I want to do
streaming that.
Yeah, we get a stream.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. We need to make sure like internet is like top priority right there with Mike. Like, you have to have solid internet.
Yeah.
Because if your mic is horrible and you're cutting in and out, or there's like an annoying, like right now, reconnecting.
Oh my god, that's so funny you said internet.
Yeah. So like it can't be doing that.
So
live
did
streaming.
That happen because you went?
I don't know why it's doing that.
Okay, so we just lost you, and we were talking about internet. That is so weird. It did.
And it just went out.
The internet literally went out the minute.
Yeah.
I swear to God, somebody's listening.
I don't know, but like, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, like if we're
perfect. That was
if this is live to people, example. Yeah, they're gonna click off if it does that. Because people don't have the attention span to stay and wait. Okay, when is this gonna come back?
Yeah, it's like, annoying.
It is. Like it same thing with audio. Yeah. So having solid internet where it
video,
won't do that,
audio, and internet.
Yeah,
are the
a must.
Yep. We need to.
Your video quality could be kind of rough, but if your audio and your internet are solid,
Yeah.
you're good.
Yeah. Yep.
Like,
Right.
so video is like last on the list. I think
audio.
I think top for streaming would be internet, audio, video.
Yep. Yeah.
Because audio is really, really annoying, and it's pretty much right there with internet, but if you're buffering, it doesn't matter. Like, audio doesn't matter. You're not there.
Yeah.
Like, they just see the spinning circle.
And I think it has something to do with your brain. You know what I mean? If it's like when you start to lose your hearing, that's really annoying.
Yeah.
You hear like every third word somebody says.
Yeah.
Jerry said today, he said, I have a hard time hearing. I noticed my hearing is definitely getting worse. And then he said, I've talked with people who have had strokes and they have, speech difficulties. He goes, that makes it 10 times worse for me to understand because I can't hear them and I hear every fourth word. So definitely it's an annoying thing to your ear, to your brain. I remember
Gramps too.
To your eyes. Yeah.
He was always angry and got more angry as he got older because he couldn't see and he couldn't hear.
Yeah, no. It definitely does something strong for your brain and because your brain probably gets frustrated. It can't hear what you're saying, so it can't do its job. It can't see what it's needing to see because it keeps getting interrupted. Anyways,
another thing with that's frustrating is ads.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, I can't
do
YouTube. I get so irritated with YouTube because it's an ad every 3 minutes and they're skippable. Thank God, because if they were not skippable, or at least some of them are skippable. If they weren't skippable, I could not watch YouTube.
They torture you to have to watch so many in an hour.
Well, they do that because they want you to buy YouTube Premium, and Johnny's like this close to just biting the bullet.
We just did this. Remember, I just signed up for something, and you said, "Do you want Premium?" And I'm like, "No."
Yes, on Peacock.
I don't want to pay extra for that, but it's true.
Yeah,
the ads.
You get like over 60 seconds of ads, and that doesn't seem like a lot, but it's really frustrating because they know when to put the ads.
I was just gonna say they do it in the most inopportune times. Yeah, right at a climax of something and ad.
And then when it gets back to the video that you were watching, it's like a recap. Of what you just watched, and you're like, I just want to watch.
Okay, I'm done with the ads. Yeah. No, I agree, and again, it goes back to the almighty dollar. You're going to hear us say that a bazillion times. That's another one of those plate signs, dollar sign, because you're going to see in life, sadly, how negatively that dollar affects people's lives.
Oh. I think it's iPhone that does that because it does it on like FaceTime too.
Nice.
When you do that, I don't know.
That's a good
idea. That was a good topic.
We just got another thumbs up.
I hope they can see that because if they can't, then we look crazy.
Right. But yes, so we've learned a lot with this video. How do you feel about this video? We're going to close with talking about this.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think? I'm curious. I think we rambled.
Oh, it's all over the place.
It is. It's all over the place. So I'll be curious to see how frustrating. Remember how we talked about your brain? How frustrating it is to view this video. We'll try to edit it if that is the case for us. We'll try to edit it so that will pull us back.
Yeah.
But I think all the information, and it was great because
I think this should be raw.
Some learning stuff for us. Yeah. Okay, we can keep.
I think it should just be raw. Really.
You guys let us know what you think, though.
Yeah, because
did we drive you completely crazy? Could you follow our craziness? And then again, it's about balance, isn't it? It's about having that rawness, that tangential.
Yeah.
Follow us, right? Come with us where our brain goes. So I think for the first time, I think we did good, and I think we did good pulling ourselves back in.
We didn't have a lot of I think towards the end we had a little bit of empty space.
Yeah,
I think very small.
Felt one time.
Yeah, but other than that, I think we did great.
Yeah, I think so too.
Not having a lot of empty. Yep. Now, if we watch this back, we're
gonna watch this back. We'll let you know.
Yeah,
we'll be honest with ourselves and.
I think it's great. I think it needs to be raw too, because in 1 year from now, after doing say we put out 50 videos or 100 videos in a year, and we look back at this video, we can like see, it'll be a good video for us to review and see how far we've come, because we're taking this and we're learning from this. Like, this is our first ever video doing a podcast together. Like, this is raw. Like, we just needed to get it out.
Legendary. This is legendary.
Yes.
Yes.
So
no,
we just needed to get this out and start it, because for me, the thing keeping me from doing this is anxiety. And like,
we just hit the 1 hour mark.
So
that is good. And I love the closing of this, of how we're talking about what we liked and what we didn't like. And there wasn't much. I think it's crazy I think we shared all the information that I wanted to share with them about what we thought about, and to get this far where we're at right now. And so
I think the next video that we do, we try to be more organized with it. And,
we'll have a subject. This one was
starting up. This is like,
this was, and I learned what I learned from this video is thought-provoking. Like, we came up with 3 see, there's the interruption. That's Jesus, my dog. So oh, there's my love.
Here's Papa.
There's Papa. But I sidetracked. I lost.
Oh God, I think that's a good end.
Well,
squirrel.
Papa. Jesus.
We were talking about, I don't know. I'm lost.
We totally got lost. So that was why we need to have that area. That was the example. As to why we said that you want to have a good area where there's no interruptions. Because I got lost, and I got lost because he's so handsome to see. Oh, my dog is handsome too, but my honey, he's handsome. It was nice to see him. So
Jesus is the dog.
Sharing to you. We were talking about a topic.
By the way.
And thought-provoking. That we learned a lot in doing this. Just doing this, we came up with 3 podcasts that I can think of. And we're going to go back and review, because I can't remember them off the top of my head right now. But it was interesting. So
I think to start out, if you think about it, we want to do at least one a week. One podcast a week. But if we could do 2, there's 52 weeks in a year, so that would be 104 podcasts. I think that would be perfect. And we might not be able to do 2 every single week with our schedules.
And this is another thing, starting out, for podcasters, you want to think about is, like, how often do you want to do a podcast? And when ahead, we need to start making podcasts so that we have, like, having 6 podcasts already done.
We need to be ahead, because we have to,
because there's always life that happens. There's always something, and researching and getting yourself prepared, I think, is the best.
I have a 2-year-old, so
do this. And I'm a trained nurse, and life happens. Even just getting this started, we've been working on this for a month? 3 weeks.
Well,
3 weeks.
How long have you been back? Because it was before then.
3 weeks, so a month.
So
it's been a month before we started talking about it, researching it, and finally just said, okay, we're going to do it with what we've learned and what we've gotten so far.
So with the advice that I could give right now for somebody that also wants to start a podcast is,
we'll end it with this.
You need good audio. And some people use their phone audio. Their phone audio in this setting, I think, would actually be perfect. Like, just the phone audio. This might have picked up both of our voices. I wonder if, because it's such a small space, I wonder if it did that. So we'll have to check that out. But good audio. You can use your iPhone. A lot of people do. And I lost my train of thought.
Lighting. So audio.
Lighting. But video. No, just do.
Yeah.
Audio and just do. Like, don't research too much. Just do it. You can do it and then research, because you know what you want in your podcast. So you're gonna learn by doing this.
Yeah.
Like, just doing it.
Yeah, seriously. And you probably don't even need Riverside. You can just do it with your phone.
Yeah.
Video yourself on your phone.
Yeah,
Like,
just
we've
make
all
a
done
video.
this before, made
Put
a
it on
video.
YouTube.
I've done that. I really like doing that and sharing information, and I just did it. Even Facebook Live,
Yeah,
similar
you do a lot of
concept
those.
that. So, but yeah, I think just doing
Just
it
do it.
and then learn as
It's
you
very
go.
easy
Yeah.
to just be overwhelmed by like watching a ton of YouTube videos. For me,
Yeah.
it gets me so overwhelmed because I'm like, oh no, I need this before I start. I need
Yeah.
this.
Yep.
But
I did
to
that
be
too.
honest, your first multiple podcasts, I don't know how many.
Oh, you can invite people.
Yeah.
Oh, so we're
That's how-
recording. Are we
yeah.
recording?
Yeah.
I didn't even
Why
press
does
the
yours
button.
look different than mine?
I don't know. Because mine's an iPhone 16.
Whatever.
Mine's better.
Apparently.
Okay, so now
Testing.